Hey everybody, Zetrot here and welcome back to another Academy Bite. Today we're going to be keeping our stream theme going and talking about variable streams. In episode 6 we covered slider stream jumps, in episode 5 we covered compressed streams. Now we're getting to the variables. Now, not to be confused with compressed streams, these ones are pretty simple to make. You can make them just in the editor as is. You can use slider conversion. That way you can turn your sliders into circles. That's what I'm going to be doing in the demonstration today. It's very helpful. And basically one of the main things we're going to cover is when it is right to use these type of patterns, as you really only want to be using them in very special situations, following the intensity of the music. And we should be getting in that in just a moment. But if you have absolutely no patience and you don't consider it a virtue whatsoever, you can check out the mapping technique subforum that I've showed right here. It goes over all the mapping techniques that we'll cover in this series and shows what the community thought of them. There's information on how to use them, when not to use them, and all kinds of great stuff. But I've kind of rambled on long enough. Let's get right into this thing. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get into the explanation. I'm going to be pausing and showing screenshots, talking about how this works. And mind you, the demo pattern that we're going to be looking at is not rankable due to the spacing, but we're just talking about what spacing changes justify variable streams. So let's get into that. Alright guys, and to start our pause fest, let's start with our 0.4 spacing stream that we have here. As you might have guessed, we are going to go ahead and do this to a build-up. Build-ups are really easy to do with variable streams, as the audio really is your friend here. It's very easy to listen for. It's going to start dooka dooka dooka, and then each one, as the intensity grows, it's not going to change anything on the timeline, as you can see, but it will change the intensity. It's going to get more louder, high-pitched, and that's what we're going to base our spacing off of. Okay, now we've paused at our yellow spacing here, and this one's going to be at 0.67. The intensity is increased slightly from this build-up. I do have the build-up color-coded from the beginning, which is our red, which is the lowest, yellow being the middle, and green is going to be our highest intensity in this demonstration. So you will be able to hear that, but we have changed that to 0.67. As you can see, it is spaced a little bit more. There's no shape to this, but it is showing that there is a variable in the stream spacing. Alright, and with our final pause, we will be at our 0.84 spacing. Now, a few things to talk about since we've gotten to the end of this. Variable streams do not only work in one way, they don't have to go from slow to fast. This is just an easier way to explain it. If the music calls for it, it can go from crazy fast to super slow in an instant, and changing the stream variable's spacing is something you want to do as a mapper, especially if you can find intuitive ways to do so. I'm going to try to shape what we've shown you as a demonstration into something that's a little bit more playable and not just lines on a board, but hopefully I'll get something that is at least a little bit redeemable. Streams are not my strong point, but I'm going to give it my best shot. Alright, and to wrap this up, I am going to show some sped up footage of me trying to create that demonstration pattern that we used into something that's actually a little playable. What I decided to do was go for a variable stream rainbow arc, which is going to go in one direction to the other, opposite from each other. It wasn't too hard to make with the circle to slider conversion. As you can see me using that here, I do use the exact values that I used in the demonstration as well, getting that all set up as best as I could. I did have to play with it a little bit more than I thought I would. I'm guessing the rust is kind of real, but with those adjustments, I did make sure that every part of the stream was actively being used, and the build-ups were still where they were in the demonstration. I even was able, because of the shape, I was able to finish out the entirety of the green section and have it end where it should have ended all along. Now, we're going to go ahead and play back this in its fully completed state so you can get a look at it. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it was helpful. And if you have any other type of mapping tutorials you'd like me to go over, let me know. I hope you enjoyed what you saw today, and maybe it gave you a little bit of an idea on variable streams. And maybe you want to subscribe. That would be cool. Anyways, see you next time, and remember, rhythm's only a click away.